And welcome to another episode of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. Another week of top-class greyhound racing. We're going to look back on last week's finals, couple of those, and two big competitions getting into one Thursday night at Newcastle. So we'll try and get this out as early as possible for you and get your betting boots strapped on as early as possible as well, because Thursday night is the action to focus on this week. As ever, Tony Bullen from the Racing Post joins us. Tony, a successful week for us last week. We'll pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah, no, everything went to plan. It's nice when it does so. Two decent performances in both big finals. I mean, although there was over 6 bends, it just goes to show you, Dave, how pertinent it is to get to the front, because once you're out in front, they've all got a pass you.
Indeed, we will look back. Do get involved with us here on Off the Leash on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe, whether you're questioning some of Tony's rhyming Cockney slang, or just giving us some selections, as some of the YouTube commenters have been doing in recent weeks. All good stuff, so do get involved. Right, what's coming up then? We're going to look back on the Friday night action at Romford. The £10,000 Coronation Cup final was won by a familiar face. Mark Wallace, of course, winning that one again, 3 on the spin. And then we're going to look back at what was a fascinating 3 steps to victory final at Sheffield over the 660. Lots of questions heading into that final and one answer given very quickly out of the boxes by the winner. But we'll get onto all of that, and then we're going to look forward to the two big competitions this week, as I mentioned, both on Thursday night at Newcastle. The £12,500 Time Ground Nutrition Northern Flat and the £7,500 Arena Racing Company Angel of the North Oaks. Going to be a brilliant night of racing on Thursday night at Newcastle, so looking forward to that. There's also a good open race card at Hove on Saturday, trial stakes for the Premier Greyhound Racing Regency and the Coral Sussex Cup. It is never ending, Tony, isn't it? And it's a really busy time of the year now.
Yeah, as I say, it's loads of variety, all ends of the country, all distances. Bring it on.
Bring it on indeed. And then, of course, we'll give you our best bets of the week. Back of the net last week for the both of us. Right, Coronation Cup. We go to Romford. Lap and a half of the track here. Fabulous Sonique was our selection. She took no finding. She was the odds-on jolly. Probably chalked up a little bit shorter than what we expected. Mark Wallace, I think, had won this 5 of the last 10 run-ins. He'd won the last 2. The 15 times champion trainer was represented by Fabulous Sonique in trap 4 here. 34.80, Golden Palace. It was a 40-1 each way play on here. Managed to bag second. Teddy in trap 3, 4.53. And it was over very early here. Brilliant performance from a prolific winner out the Mark Wallace kennel.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Fabulous Sonique at Romford, Dave. She overcomes all trap draws. She's well equipped to cope with a middle box. She can put herself in contention for the sprint leg first time around. And when she's in front, she's just difficult to pass because she keeps finding. She's always shown the right attitude, even in the heat of battle. She sort of comes again with a renewed effort. So when she was in front, I mean, the semi-finals, I mean, I was surprised a few people out there fancied Teddy. Teddy come away brilliant in the semis and couldn't deal with Fabulous Sonique, and Fabulous Sonique got the drop on Teddy this time around. So, yeah, it was race over. She was priced accordingly, but she did the job really well.
Yeah, really, really nice performance. Now, that is an 8th Category 1 success so far this year for the champion trainer, Mark Wallace, which he told me yesterday is a record for the kennel, and we're only 7 months in, so a bit ominous. And, of course, all good stuff coming up as well. Fabulous Sonique is running at Hove on Saturday night in just a one-off bitches race over the 500 metres. The Sussex Cup is a potential for her, but, of course, the Champion Stakes is the long-term target later on this year over the 575 at Romford. Right, let's move on then to everything we wanted the 3 steps to victory final to be at the start of the competition. You get a blend of stayers and 4 bend dogs all going into battle, 480 heats, 500 metre semi-finals, and then, you know, let's see who turns up in the final and will they get home. Now, it was predominantly, if not all, 4 bend dogs here, although Chelm's Bear on the inside, formerly known as Barntick Bear, was a winner over 6 bends previously. But we headed into this, Tony, with more questions than answers. Wiki Ned, he was as wide as he's ever been, and this was as far as he's ever gone. But he's the Ground of the Year. He's the Jim Crack winner from a couple of years ago. He, of course, won the Steel City Cup last year as well. And what can you say? This was just magnificent off the front, out of trap 6, 38.98. Arthur Job in 5, finishing second. Chelm's Bear back in third in trap 1, who was sent off the favourite. Wickenhead just dazzling off the front here. The kind of start that I'm sure connections of any Cat 1 finalist go to bed the night before dreaming of.
Yeah, the old hand slip start, wasn't it? I mean, he obviously knew what he needed to do, Wickenhead. He must have been told he was in trap 6, short run to the turn, where he was like, well, I'll just blast clear, put the race to bed at the winning line first time. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what fractions that he set for the first 3 or 4 bends, but to the eye, it looked very, very taking. I mean, whether the others completely missed the break and he got a slick exit and it looked a lot more better than it did, but take nothing away from the dog. He's a winner. He's a win machine. He wins Cat 1s and he stays. He was still going strong to the pickup. I mean, it was a great run. I mean, one thing I do want to touch on, I think a few people was moaning that there was one of the staff members just in front of the boxes. That ain't a one-off. I mean, that is a regular occurrence at Sheffield over the 6 bends. I'm not sure it made any difference. Should he be there? Personally, I think not, but let's not take nothing away. I don't think it would have mattered who. They needed a wall standing in front of the traps to stop Wickenhead.
Yeah, I mean, if it was going to affect anyone, it probably would have been the dog drawn widest of all, and he was the one who broke best. So brilliant performance from Wickenhead. And it was just fascinating. It was catch me if you can, but, come the sort of third, fourth bend, you just thought, well, from what we've seen so far, this dog's not stopping anytime soon, and he just kept pulling further and further away, didn't he? He stride shortened coming home, but as expected, a dog who's that classy over 4 bends, you can't do it both ends. But a brilliant display and another big title for the Newcastle Raider, Jimmy Fennick and Neil McGregor there. Great bit of placement from Connections. And, they probably would have been happy about the draw, but they certainly would have been happy about the start. Dazzling performance there. Right, from a Newcastle Raider doing the business at Sheffield to Newcastle on Thursday night. 2 big competitions kicking off. We're going to look at the Time Ground Nutrition Northern Flat, £12,500 to win. A 36 hopefuls lineup on Thursday night. Let's take in heat number 1 then, and we don't have to wait long to see the anti-post favourite Tom Hilbrond's Droopy's Bookham on the inside here. Prices with Labrocks and Corals as ever. Hats off to those guys. First out the traps. 5-4. Bookham on the inside. Elusive No More, the Jim Crack winner, 7-2. Sunnyside Broxy was a 2024 Derby finalist when known as Ballymac Gizmo, 9-4. Black House Allen 12s. Bramble Shelby 16s. Salacre Slick, Peter Harner's Toaster Raider 8-1. Right, Droopy's Bookham, Tony. After his Derby campaign, we probably expected to see him over 6 bends, which I think is the plan eventually. But Connections wanted to take in this contest on home soil. And he's got a decent draw. Just going to have to mind himself early doors, right?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't hit a straightforward assignment. I mean, the draws sort of pitched him in with a few leading contenders, but I mean, his exploits in the Derby tell you that, like, he does stay the distance well, and I think that he'll get the run of the race in these. I know he's not going to probably go toe-to-toe with a majority to the turn, but I think by the time Newcastle's a tricky opening couple of bends, and I think a majority of the time they've sorted themselves out around the first 2 turns, Droopy's Bookham might turn no worse than third or second dog, and now you're in trouble because we know how much he lays it down in the second half.
Yeah, I'd echo all of that. It's a very tight turn. If you've watched plenty of racing at Newcastle and not been to the track, I think you'd be amazed at how tight that first bend is when you're there watching racing. On screen, it just looks like a standard 480. I think it's definitely a track for me that favours dogs off the front. So he'll have to do it right, but there's no doubt that, in my eyes, he's the fastest dog in this competition. At least he's got trap 1. Is he going to be a pick?
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, okay. 2 votes for the anti-post Jolly Droopy's Bookham in the opening heat. That is the 7.27, and you'd expect him to be a monster coming home. So he gets the vote in heat 1. Heat 2, 7.44, and this is Velvet Black on the inside at 7-1. Slingshot Shaz 2-1, Lionheart 2-1, Hollyoak Gonzo 12s, Romeo Jackson 3s, Jack Tavern Lab 8-1. How do you see it, Tony?
Yeah, I think Slingshot Shaz in trap 2 returning to home soil will work wonders. He's clearly a fast dog when everything clicks. Any dog can come a cropper at Sunderland, even in back-to-back races. But I think the return to home soil, I think you'll see the best of Slingshot Shaz.
Yes, tread very carefully when saying that one, which you have done, thankfully. I'm not sure who's on commentary duty that night, but yeah, do try and tread carefully. Slingshot Shaz for the Fairburn camp. Just going to have to tread carefully a little bit early doors. There's a bit of pace in 3. Lionheart for Cole Jackson. Capable Salt, but Velvet Black not the quickest into stride. So 2 votes for the blue jacket there. Hopefully we're not going to agree on every single heat. Right, we're on to heat number 3. And this is, let's give you the correct time, 8:01. Ballymac line out on the inside 3-1. Toolmaker Quick 5-1, which is the price that jumps off the page at me straight away. Nyatra, we'll go with that, 9-4. In trap 3. Fraser 7-1. Dunelm Dragon 10-1, which I think again is a huge price for Ted Soppit. And Deliveroo in the stripes here at 5-2. One of the most competitive heats of the 6 on Thursday night. Tony, how do you see it?
Yeah, again, I think obviously the locals do really well in this event because they are got quite a majority of the runners, but Nokra, shall we say, Naokra, track 3 sets a decent standard on home soil. 28-22. You can go low as 28-22. You're going to be a big player in any race at Newcastle. The Toolmaker Quick Dog's a dog. I think he's got a big run in him. I think there'll be an occasion when he traps on terms and people go, wow, who's this? But the problem is he's a little bit flat-footed at the boxes, and if 3 gets the drop on them, I can't see 3 being beaten.
No, I agree. I can make some sort of case for Dunelm Dragon at 10-1. Has been off the card. Ted Soppit, we know, operates a small but very talented kennel usually. I watched this dog win a one-off, I think it was, on the 2nd of June at Nottingham, trapped, and just absolutely took off. And I don't think anything to be coming from behind Dunelm Dragon here. So I think, if you're looking for something at a big price, you can maybe back Dunelm Dragon each way at 10-1. And Ted did enter him in the 3 steps, so they obviously fancied that the dog stays as well. And he has got a fast start in the locker. So he could go well at 10-1, but it is going to be 2 votes for... Let's call it trap 3 for now. Let's call him trap 3. 9-4 looks a big price to me. As Tony said, if you can clock 28-22, that is a huge run. Right, let's move on then to Heat 4, 9-11. Trooper McAvoy 10s. Hardwick Mighty 7-2. Rugged Road 11-2. Maxi on Fire 8s. Jack Tavern Chief, who has changed hands, formerly with Kevin Hutton, at 7-4. And Unanimous Kai in the stripes here at 5-2. Jack Tavern Chief now with Glenn Foot out of Star P-Law. He is going to be my pick. He's clocked to 28.53 in a solo trial. He's got good early pace. I think he'll make all. What about yourself, Tony?
I think it's a tricky race. I mean, this Rugged Road, all right, not posting any 28-20s and 30s, but been going to the bend extremely well. Maxi on Fire's no slouch on his day going to the turn. Saint's going to have to give here, and I thought I'd be with a white dog, Unanimous Kai, who can go with him early. I just think he can get a position out wide. Obviously, the Jack Tavern Chief dog, he shaped really well in that Sunderland event, and I think he'll relish the return to a 480 metre distance. But yeah, I think Saint's going to have to give here around the first 2 turns. We don't like to see messy races, but this could be one of the crucial early pace battles. But I think 6 can hold his pitch out wide and might just get the run out wide.
Yeah, you make an interesting point. I spoke to part of the management at Newcastle for a long time, Ian Walton, last week, who's a fair judge himself. And he just said, everyone's welcome. A couple of trainers travelling up, most notably Nathan Hunt. But it's a tough place to win at Newcastle because a lot of the local dogs are trappy and speedy. They fly to the turn, they fly down the back. They're not necessarily the strongest coming home, but they can change the complexion of a race. You get a local dog off the front who's capable of doing, let's say 28.60, 28.70. Not going to be the fastest dog in the race, but still going to take some catching. So I very much feel like Newcastle, the 480 is a speed track. And like you've said there, Tony, some of the locals, in particular Rugged Road, can certainly play a big part in some of the outcomes of these races if they time the start right. So an interesting race, that one, Heat 4. Very, very competitive on the early prices. We're looking at sort of 7-4 the field. I think you're looking at 5-2, 11-4 the field once the off there for that one. Right, let's move on to Heat 5, which is the 9.28. Bramble Elvis on the inside here. 7-1, Untold Panga 9-4. Optic Pharaoh 10s. Monty and Webby 4. Slingshot Sam 5-4. Lastminute.com at 20 to 1. Really, really tricky race. Slingshot Sam, a worthy favourite. How do you see it?
I mean, when Slingshot Sam brings his A game, he's very good. Again, another one that can post very, very quick times, and I think he'll get the job done here. I mean, Untold Panga's got winning form over 4 and 6 bends, but it's disappointed for me in a trial state. But will it even clear Bramble Elvis on the inside? I'm not so sure, but yeah, it all depends what Slingshot Sam turns up. If it's the one that brings his A game, yeah, 5 to 4 would look a big price.
Yeah, I'm going to be with the 5 as well. But again, I'm going to chuck in another one at a big price. And maybe, I don't know, you can have an each-way double here. Dunelm Dragon and Optic Pharaoh in the 3 for Tom Hilborn. Now, this dog's got bits and pieces of interesting form. Quite lightly raced, very lightly raced, Feb 23. Only the 5 starts. Race card telling me this dog's owned by Kenny Glenn, who has won derbies, of course, DJ Sydney, etc. Short head behind Deliveroo. And this dog's got a bit of an engine as well. So there's not bundles of pace in and around him. Untold Panga, of course, has got a fast start, but more suited, I think, to the 575 at Romford rather than the 480. Maybe just one to travel up with Iceman's Girl out the Nathan Hunt camp. But I think Optic Pharaoh might go well at a big price here. 10 to 1 is far too big. Selection's going to be 5, but maybe an each-way play on the 3. Right, the 6th and final heat, 9.46 at Newcastle, unanimously in on the inside, 4 to 5. Killiford Gorham, 9 to 2. Hollyhill Pad, 8. Return Package, 12 to 1. Jeekers Man, 8. Jacko's Bono at 11 to 2. Now, Unanimous Leon is one of the best dogs in training without a Cat 1 title to his name. He's been to a handful of finals. He's got dazzling early pace, 28.53 in the trial. Yes, he's been off the card, but he's in good hands and he's got a good draw. Is he for you, Tony?
It's only the layoff that stops him from being an all-in job at the prices. I just thought he's guaranteed to lead. His trials suggest that he's ready to rock and roll. I think he's going to have a nice bit of racing room around the first 2 bends. Just a case of fitness, but I think the damage will be done in the early stages, Dave. I think he'll just put the pace to the race, open up a nice lead and stay out in front.
Yeah, I agree as well, and I'd echo everything you've said there, barring the layoff. This dog will probably be, I don't know, 3 on. If he's at his very, very best and he comes away, I think he leads. He puts a big time on the board, and I'm not sure any of these could fetch him. Killiford Gorham in 2 is an interesting run, a strong run in sort. We saw that one in the Derby, best known for, I think, banging out and leading up Bocco's Diamond in the one of the early rounds. 9 to 2 could certainly qualify, and a little bit more on that one very, very shortly. But I'm going to be with one unanimously on, as I say, multiple Cat 1 finalists, I think, can go marching on into next week's semis. Let's have a look at the outright book then. 4 to 1 the field. Droopy's Bookham, Sunnyside Broxy 9s, unanimously on 10s, Deliveroo 12s, Jack Tavern Chief 14s, along with a whole host of other runners at the same price. Have you got an outright view for us, Tony? Where are we going?
I'm going to be bored. I'm going to be with a favourite. Oh, there ain't a great deal of juice. You could have been expecting maybe someone go 6 to 1 or something, but I just think that he's got not got a lot of mileage on the clock, the dog. He's certainly got the talent and the skills to go all the way, and I think he's a worthy anti-post favourite, Dave, Droopy's Bookham.
Yeah, he is. I thought he was desperately unlucky to get knocked out of the Derby. When he did, he built up a head of steam into the 3rd turn, and there was no room at the inn, and he was stopped in his tracks and eliminated. Massive engine. I am excited to see him step up in trip eventually, maybe the 6:30 at Monmore in time, but he's going to take some stopping just to qualify. He doesn't have to win the first 2 rounds. He's just got to get himself into the final. I'm going to go with Slingshot Shaz as my outright play. Couple of rough rides at Sunderland. Good form over course and distance. I think it's fared well in the opening round as well. I think it's a 16 to 1 chance. You could back that one each way. Got big early pace. I've gone and looked back through winners of the Northern Flat and winners of the All England Cup. And I don't know, it is the Roll of Honour is just littered with dogs that are getting off the front. So I've looked for one to maybe try and get first run on a Droopy's Bookham or a Sunnyside Broxy. Because, let's have it right. The 2 at the head of the market are strong running salts. And a strong running salt I'm going to put up as well, who's a huge price, is Killiford Gorham, who's got plenty of form over course and distance, was a Grand Prix finalist over the 640 at Sunderland. Good engine and the sort of dog that just for the place part of the bet, we might get a run out of just qualifying. So each way play Killiford Gorham. I'm going to go with Slingshot Shaz steady, to make all the run in there. Tony's with the Jolly, Droopy's Bookham. Let's have a look at the other big competition, because Labrocks and Coles have priced up this one as well. Iceman's Girl heads the market here. Runner-up in the Oaks, a class bitch for Nathan Hunt, and, of course, Gerwin Price, a professional darts player owner there, hence the name. Bang on Edith, Kennel Mate 13-2, Ballymac Camilla 12s, Copy Sapphire 12s, Chamberlain Kate 14s, Droopy's Niece 14s, 16s bar. Have you got a strong view here, Tony?
I mean, look, Iceland's Girl, without a shadow of a doubt, is the one to beat. 5-4, 3 rounds round Newcastle, not for me. I mean, I'm amazed when I saw the prices. How can Leah's Dream not feature in the top end of the betting? Runner up last year. I know she blows hot and cold nowadays, but boy, Dave, there should be a few behind her in the betting than there are in front of her in the betting. It's crazy that she's even around the 16-1 mark with me. I think she'll do the business in the heat 3 on Thursday. I mean, she's got 28, 10, 20 in her locker at Newcastle. Make no mistake. I know she's not been the most consistent of late, but she bounced back to winning ways at Perry Bar. Runs the track, which is the most important thing. 16-1. I wouldn't be wanting to lay anyone 16-1 Leah's Dream.
Yeah, full transparency. When the prices come out, Tony was on the phone to me straight away. This is an incredible price, Leah's Dream, 16-1. So listen, I'm just going to follow you in, because I think the Jolly's going to take some stopping. But if you're looking for a little bit of value, look no further than Leah's Dream. I'd echo everything Tony said. Not the most consistent, still quite lightly raced for her age, but she's got the form over course and distance. I think she's fared quite well in the first round. And listen, 16-1, you don't have to have a lot on each way play. So I'm going to follow Tony in there. Leah's Dream will do for me. Right, it is that time. Best bets of the week. There's some fantastic action on Thursday night at Newcastle, live on the Premier Greyhound Racing service. Of course, the Angel of the North and the Northern Flat both kick off. Fantastic card at Hove on Saturday night, as well as potential runners in the Sussex Cup and Regency limber up. So a busy time on the PGR service. You can go anywhere you like here, Tony, this week. Where's the best bet?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Hove. It's a decent card, obviously, with the Sussex Cup and Regency looming. Some of these big trainers are prepping their hopefuls for them said events, and Patrick Janssens looks set to have a decent night on Saturday, and I think Romeo Tomcat runs in the finale, Sussex Cup Trial Stake Division A. It's only a 5-dog race, but I like the way, I mean, this dog's always had something about him. I like the way he took to track and trip. He won a dual distance event, heat and final, recently, which was an above average competition. There were some good dogs in that. I know he'd be skinny enough, but when you've got the likes of Missile One, Gunslinger, Arrow Cracker, Nuin Oscar, I think there might be a bit of juice. And this dog's all-round pace. I think he's tailor-made for Hove, especially 515 metres.
Romeo Tomcat then, a class act with a big engine, goes in the 9.16 on Hove on Saturday night. That's for Tony. I'm going to go Romford, Friday night. If there is any odds against about Devonshire Lady in the 7.44, which is a maiden stays over the 5.75, gobble it up. Central Park Raid, a good form over 4 bends. Comes to Romford with a nice draw, lack of a look, but nice draw on the inside. Trap 2 I've had a look at over the 400 metres and moved middle, so there's no reason why Trap 2 won't move middle again. So I think Devonshire Lady has found a lovely winnable race over the 5.75. That is the 7.44 at Romford on Friday. Central Park Raider for Danny Brabham, Devonshire Lady for me, Romeo Tomcat for Tony. Right, it's been a pleasure as ever. Tony, you out there, do get involved with us. Like, comment and subscribe. Do let us know who you fancy at Newcastle on Thursday night. Not just in the heats, but I want to know who... Can you dig something out for us at a big price? We've gone with Leah's Dream against Iceman's Girl. Maybe you fancy Iceman's Girl as an all-in job to get the job done in that Angel of the North. And Tony's going with the favourite, Droopy's Bookham in the Northern Flat. Can you oppose the Jolly? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to gamble responsibly. Enjoy your greyhound racing this week. Watch it all live on the PGR service. We'll see you next time.